What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner. And you know what doesn't make sense? It doesn't make sense that the Democratic Party uses racism for all occasions. I mean, they sprinkle racism on every situation. It doesn't matter. Hey, doctor, I got a bunion on my toe. Let me sprinkle a little racism on that for you. Hey, you know what? I need some glasses. My eyes are horrible. Open your eyes. There you go. A little racism in there. That should do it. Yeah. Oh, you know what, man? My back is killing me. Roll over. Stay still. Little racism right there on your back. That should loosen you right up. It doesn't matter what the situation is. All they have is racism. You would think that they would only be campaigning for black people or towards black people. Like the rest of all the nationalities in America doesn't even exist. It's all about black people. And it's insulting. And I'm going to tell you why. One, instead of talking to black people about policies, what do? They just come in and say, you're a victim and it's all about racism. Yeah. And two, the fact that they use simply racism constantly shows me that they're not even worried about white people, women, men. I mean, don't get me wrong. They constantly are breaking us up into categories, but they spend a lot of time focused on straight racism. So now I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a Democratic voter and I'm a white guy, I'm thinking that's all you got for all of us? I mean, what about us? I mean, what are you saying? Are you saying that your only market is just black people? Because that's all you talk about is racism. That's it. That is it. It's like they're not even trying to get any of the other shares. You know, there are certain products that you sell and you know exactly who you're selling it for. Suntan lotion, most likely they're Caucasians. Yeah, or Afro Sheen, most likely they're black people. You know, hot comb, most likely black people. You know, things like that. You kind of get a feel. Gold teeth, most of the time it's going to be the brothers. You know, skateboards, most of the time it's going to be white kids. You kind of focus on that. And I think when it comes down to the Democratic Party, they're not interested in being diverse. They're not interested in broadening their horizon and trying to increase their voter base because all they do is just talk about racism. Of course, they'll slide in a little sexism and then, of course, you know, a little homophobia and xenophobia. But I was watching a montage on Tucker and on, what's her name? Laura Ingraham. And they were showing all these clips of politicians saying some of the most outlandish things, using racism as a cure-all for everything. Let's hear what some of these knuckleheads have to say. Let's see here.
Bring for this message.
Listen to Bernie.
We have a president today who is a racist, who is a sexist, who is a homophobe, who is a xenophobe, and who is a religious bigot. This country continues.
Now, did you hear Bernie? Bernie just made a gumbo pot of all the isms you could come up with. Started off, who is a racist? I mean, first of all, do you know how offensive this is? First of all, it's an indictment against all of us Trump supporters because he's basically saying that we don't have a good judge of character. We're not able to see that this man is just infested with all of this hatred, racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia. I mean, if he was a doctor, he would check him and say, man, you got every disease known to man. Yeah, I don't know how you got it, but you're full of all types of diseases. You got a little bit of polio, a little bit of the palsy. You got a little bit of the flu. You got some hepatitis. You got a little bit of the black plague, all of that stuff. So now this man is sitting back, throwing out everything. Now, if you're the person who he's accusing of being all of these things, those there are fighting words. I would be ready to swing on Bernie because this man just eliminated any potential good in Donald Trump. Just straight up, all of the things pulling out the hat, racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, take that. What about your policies, Bernie? Well, socialism. But now, don't focus on that. Let's get back to the racism, homophobia, and xenophobia. And then, of course, he comes in with this.
To be plagued by institutional racism and racial inequality.
Institutional
Now, are
racism
coal miners
and racist inequality. Okay, that's what you got for us, Bernie. You're talking to an all black audience, and you come in, and all you're doing is saying, hey, black people, you're victims. And all of the progress we made has been set back somehow. For some reason, it's all revolving around systemic racism, whatever that is. That's just a spooky term that they use. It's like chasing a ghost. You don't see it, but it's just there. That's what he's saying. Systemic racism. Can we identify the companies who practice this to hold us down because we're brown? Can you identify the man? Or is it just a mysterious overlord, the man out there keeping you down? So he doesn't give any facts, any data. He just throws it out there. Systemic racism. Let's hear what the others have to say.
families in West Virginia excited about this?
Hundreds years of slavery and institutional racism have caused mass inequity and harm to black people and has...
Now, once again, here's Kirsten Killerman talking to an all-black audience. Hundreds of years of slavery and systemic racism has been damaging to all black people. But I forgot to tell you that it was our party who implemented all of that racism, that slavery and systemic racism that you're talking about. It was our party. In fact, did you know that you guys, as a black audience, since I'm talking about the history of America, did you know you guys were doing better in like the 1920s to the 1940s? And then we stepped in, the Democratic Party, and ruined that. Yeah, we implemented social programs, took the father out the home. Yep, put Planned Parenthood right in your neighborhoods because we don't want you multiplying too much, okay? Yeah, it was us. It was us who did it. It was us who implemented this so-called systemic racism, and we're still doing it right now. We do it all the time when we come in and tell you guys that you're disenfranchising your victims, and we're going to help you and give you handouts just enough to keep you connected and on the Democratic plantation. Systemic racism, I guess, is coming from their party. But no, they won't tell them that. They got them in there clapping like, yeah, the Democrats look out for us. Please.
held black communities back for generations from achieving their full potential.
All right, what about union workers in Michigan? Is this the approach they've been waiting for?
Our planet is in peril.
So you got a little bit of racism just sprinkled in there. And then I could not let this go right here. I had to go to Tucker Carlson, who, and this is another problem, y'all. It's another problem. Tucker Carlson was talking about Kim Foxx. So Kim Foxx, you know, of course, the one who obviously is corrupt and did some horrible things by letting Juicy Smollett off the hook. Now, what does she do? She goes right to the well. She brings in a couple black activists, some angry black people, mad for nothing, and pulls out the shield that they have trained black people to use. Say they've conditioned black people in America today to use racism as a shield and racism also as a sword. So if we want to hurt somebody, call them a racist. We want to keep them from hurting us, claim that they're attacking you because you're racist. Look what Kim says in her posse. What? Oops. Sorry, y'all. I don't have the red, okay? So unfortunately, here we go.
Legal experts saying it's highly unusual to drop the charges against Jussie Smollett without requiring an admission of guilt. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx has declined to discuss the substance of the case. And now, during a rally/press conference at Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push, Foxx openly wondered if the criticism she faces might have something to do with race. Watch.
I've been asking myself for the last 2 weeks, what is this really about? And as someone who has lived in this city, who came up from the projects of this city to serve as the first...
Well, if you've been asking yourself for the last 2 weeks what this is all about, then obviously you're asking yourself the wrong questions. If you don't know what it's about, who knows? That's what I'm saying. If you really can't identify your own negative behavior and how you brought all of this on yourself, what the heck are you doing as a prosecutor? You got to step outside yourself, Kim. Step outside yourself and look at the situation from the outside looking in. You know, and tell me, if you saw somebody else do what you just did, would you go, well, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, nothing suspicious there. You know, here it comes, y'all.
First African-American woman in this role.
First African-American woman.
It is disheartening to me when we get in these positions that somehow goalposts change.
Sigh. So you had to go ahead and emphasize as the first African-American woman in this role. First of all, if you got in that role, somebody put you in a role. Either people voted you in or whatever. Secondly, what are you talking about? Chicago is like a big melting pot. It's one of the most liberal cities in America. And you talking about what? Racism? You brought it on yourself. It comes down to if you the kid who gets all F's, don't get mad when mom spanks your butt. You brought that on yourself. But no. Or if the teacher punishes you, paddles you because for whatever reason you maybe put super glue in somebody's hair, don't get mad and say you did it because I'm black or you did it because I'm a boy or a girl. You did it because I put super glue in the girl's ponytail that sits in front of me. It's unbelievable. And listen to these next two dodos.
As Congressman Bobby Rush and activist Jamal Green accused the Chicago Police Union of flat-out racism. Watch.
The FOP is a sworn enemy of black people. We have all...
Now, did you just hear that? Here's this man. He gets up and he does something that all race baiters do. They make it seem like the whole system is stacked against you. Said the whole police department is the sworn enemy of black people. Good job trying to build relationships between the police and the black community. Great job, buddy. Telling them all that you have an immortal enemy. Basically, there's the lions and the hyenas. And as soon as they see each other, it's like, we got to fight. Do you think that's going to improve race relations with the police and the young black men in Chicago? Do you think that they're going to trust the police at any point? Or do you think that's going to probably make them act accordingly to that statement? Because obviously, this is war. You know, you got the police versus all black people. And then this knucklehead, whoever he is, gets up.
White man FOP getting up looking like the Ku Klux Klan to us, all in uniform.
So now the police is the Ku Klux Klan. It's not that they're upset with Kim Foxx because she let Jussie Smollett off the hook. That's not it. No, it's not because she cut a back deal with somebody to get Jussie Smollett off. That's not it. It's not the fact that she never communicated with them concerning the case. That's not it. It's all because she's black. That's what it is. And now all of a sudden, this young Pop-Tart right here gets up and calls the whole police department the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, clever term you came up with. This is the type of stuff that is embarrassing, first of all, for black people. When you see race baiters and activists like this abusing racism to get their will, to use it as a shield or to use it for political gain, all of those politicians are embarrassing us. All of those politicians are degrading real racism. Bernie, Beto, all of them who gets up and talks. Beto O'Rourke called Netanyahu a racist. Just racism for anything. Yeah, you know what? Nah, sprinkle some racism. Yeah, I'm in trouble? Okay, sprinkle some racism. I made bad choices? You can't say nothing to me because you're racist. You mean to tell me that we're losing this election? Well, you know what? My opponent, he's a racist. That is all they have. Racism for every occasion. That is the go-to secret weapon of the left. Racism. And they, every once in a while, they'll sprinkle some sexism and some xenophobia in there. But their main bread and butter is racism. If it was a racism dinner, the steak would be racism, and you have the broccoli, maybe there's some xenophobia, maybe little mashed taters over there that would equal some homophobia and things like that. And then, you know, for dessert, little sexism. But the main course, racism. That's all they have. And it is degrading. And I hope that as we move towards 2020, people will start watching little clips like this and saying, wait a minute. You know, first of all, as a black person, I don't want to be told that I'm a victim and everything revolves around racism. Because one, it degrades real racism. Right now, racism has been so diluted. The new generation, the millennials, they don't even know what it looks like. They don't know what racism is. We have to go back in the archives. We have to break the glass to pull out racism. It's stored somewhere in a darn museum somewhere. And it's like, all right, we need to show the new kids what racism looks like. Kids, come on over here. In this glass right here is real racism. Because what they've been telling you that's going on right now is not racism. When you act up and get yourself in trouble, race ain't got nothing to do with it. Neither does sex and all these other things that Alexandria Cortez throw up. And now you got Ilhan Omar, of course. They have trained and conditioned the left and black people to take advantage of identity politics. And it's going to backfire on them. And until people stop entertaining these race-baiting pimps and all these politicians who all they have as a platform is race, and corrupt politicians, whether they black or white or whatever, always throwing up some type of racism, they're going to continue to do it, but not going to get away with it with me. I'm going to call it out every single time. Now, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. Don't get caught up in some racism today, okay? I mean, it's all over the place, apparently. Yeah. What do you think, Gizmo? Come here. I gave Gizmo a haircut, y'all. Yeah, look at that. Look at that cool beard. Yes. You look like Sean Connery. You got the Sean Connery beard. Anyway, God bless. Check me out tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about all this gibberish in Kevin's Corner live on YouTube. And don't forget to check out Extreme Tees. If you click on their link, if you like something, hit like. I'm thinking of something else. If you like something, put my name in the promo code, Kevin, and you'll get a 20% discount. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. And what are you doing, Gizmo? Find me on Facebook and on Twitter. And if you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's a link in the bottom. Do that as well. All right, God bless. See you next time in Kevin's Corner.